Hello, Weekend Crafter. Welcome back to the Craft Time Studio. I'm Ange, and for today, I wanted to start giving you gift ideas for Christmas. I made these cute, custom pop sockets made from polymer clay, which you can use as a stocking stuffer. But before proceeding, what is a pop socket? A pop socket is a plastic grip that you can attach either directly on your phone or your phone case to prop your phone up or just for easier handling. Before we begin any clay project, you have to make sure that you clean your work surface first. I use a glass mat on all my projects, and I clean it by spraying it with some alcohol and wiping it down with a soft fabric or tissue paper. Let's bring out our materials. You will need a blank pop socket. I normally choose the one with the 3M adhesive to make sure that the socket sticks well to my case. I also use a detail needle, stamps, an ink pad, a curved cutter, a tissue blade, and some polymer clay. For this first pop socket, I wanted to make a fun kitty design, and so I decided to go with a rainbow that looks like it was made from yarn. For the base of my pop socket, I placed my roller into the number 4 setting. As I conditioned the clay, some air bubbles appeared. And what I like to do when this happens is that I scratch the bubbles with my detail needle to release the air, and then I roll it out again until it's fully conditioned. Then, I place the pop socket face down on the clay. I get my detail needle and trace the outline of the pop socket. Now that we know the exact work area, get the curved cutter. In this case, I used a popsicle stick shaped cutter. I just press the top on the center of the circle very lightly to serve as my marker for the rainbow. Then, I bring out my alphabet stamps and get the letters that spell hello. While this is an optional step, I stamp the letters into ink first so that I can have a good and clear indent of the letter. Because hello is a 5-letter word, I start at the center with the letter L. This will allow me to adjust my spacing with the remaining letters. As you can tell, I stamped on a curve as I wanted to follow the curve of the rainbow. Next, I get some pearl pink clay and roll it out into a log. Then, following the curve that I made with the cutter, I carefully place the log. And then, to give it that yarn effect, I made lines all around the arch. Next, I rolled out some green clay and placed it on top of the pink log. I did the same texturing to the green log. Finally, I rolled out some blue clay and placed it on top of the green log. And repeated the texturing. Next, I wanted to make some frills at the end of each rainbow. I roll out some white clay and cut it into 1/8 of an inch. I place it at the bottom of the end of each rainbow. And I do this on the other side as well. To neaten things out, I just put white clay across the ends and continue to detail the frills using the detail needle. And there you have it, a simple but very cute rainbow pop socket. But before we proceed with the next design, which is a floral inspired one, let's clean our work area once more. Flatten the clay into the number 4 setting. Then, as with how I did it the last time, place the socket face down on the clay and trace the shape using a detail needle. Once we have the clean shape, it's time to put our text. This time, I just wanted to put the word bloom at the center of the circle. Now I'll be using my floral silicone molds. I really wanted to use my tiny flowers here, so I chose my smallest molds. I have a few tutorials on using silicone molds and I will link them above, but basically, my style is to pack the clay in and slice the excess using the Sutton slice technique. As I stick the flowers on the circle, I also use a detail needle to add more texture to each flower. For the leaves, I roll out green clay and pinch one end. The log would then look like a teardrop shape. Next, I use a blade to slice off a thin leaf shape, and I just add the veins using the tissue blade. I place this randomly on the circle. And for my final design, I wanted to make a garden filled with moths. Wipe down your area one more time. Bring out the clay roller and roll out the clay into the number 4 setting. You may be wondering why I chose a thin setting. The reason is because the pop socket design fills the entire base, so there is support for the clay. Secondly, I didn't want my pop socket to be heavy. So going back to the tutorial, place the socket face down and trace the shape of the socket on the clay using the detail needle. Next, let's stamp our personalized message. I just wanted to say a simple hi in this case. But of course, you can customize this to any word that you want. You can even place a name on it. Next, let's make the moth. Get some clay and roll it out into the number 7 setting. Get a heart shape and punch 2 hearts. Cut a little bit on one side of each heart so that you will have a flat side. Lay this flat side beside each other to make the wings of the moth. Get a cutter with a curved bottom, like this tear-shaped one. Press it down at the bottom of the hearts just enough to make an indent. Then get a tissue blade to make lines at the bottom of the wings for texture. Roll out a short log and place it at the center. This will serve as the body of the moth. Get a dotting tool to make 3 dots on each wing. Then fill the dots with different colors of clay. In this example, I alternated yellow and blue clay. Add some tiny flowers around the circle and add some leaves as well. Continue to do this until you're happy with the design. When I finished, I was able to fit in 2 moths and a lot of flowers in this tiny circle. Now that we're done with the design, it's time to get this baked. Once these are completely baked, it's time to assemble our pieces. I used some metallic paints and a nail tool that I use for sanding my pieces. You can also use sandpaper, of course. You'll also need a thin brush and some water, plus a glaze to protect your piece. First, sand the edges of the pieces. After sanding these, get some paint and fill in the letters with paint. Set this aside to dry. Then you can attach the pieces to the socket and as an optional step, seal everything with some glaze. I hope that you enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you haven't yet, do consider liking and subscribing to the Craft Time Studio. Have a crafty weekend. Bye!